is now the fifth accused in a corruption case involving former Transnet executives Brian Molefe, Siyabonga Gama, Anuj Singh, and engineer Thamsanqa Jiyani. The four executives are facing 17 charges linked to the contraventions of the Public Finance Management Act, fraud, corruption, and breaches of the Companies Act. Gigaba, who only faces one charge of corruption, appeared calm in court today, laughing with his co-accused inside and outside court. The charges relate to a period between November 2010 and May 2014. Investigative Directorate spokesperson Henry Mamotami says they cannot disclose the amount Gigaba is accused of receiving.
The state will allege that he unduly received financial benefit, which in essence translates to corruption, and we will ventilate all the evidence relating to that in a trial court.
The matter has been postponed to 30 January 2026 for the disclosure of the docket. Jabuli Lembata, Eyewitness News, Palm Ridge Magistrates Court.
Controversial Northwest businessman Brown Mokhotsi claims he is a crime intelligence agent and that KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi is working for the CIA in America. Mokhotsi is currently testifying before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry in Pretoria. He claims he was recruited as a crime intelligence informant in 1999 and in 2009 he was recruited as a contact agent. He says part of his role as an agent is to provide information to crime intelligence. Singh reports.
Brown Mokhotsi claims in 2023, when South Africa filed a criminal case to the International Court of Justice against Israel, there were worries by the Israelis about the coal trade route. This, as Richards Bay Coal Terminal in northern KZN serves as a global exporter of coal to many international countries, including Israel and the US.
There was a worry from those interests that South Africa may hold that particular trade.
He claimed Zulu King, Mrs. Zulu Kwazwelithini, and KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi were recruited by the Central Intelligence Agency, otherwise known as the CIA, in the United States to protect their interests.
The information as it came was that there was a suspicion then, a real suspicion, that the Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi was recruited by the Central Intelligence Agency, the American one.
Mokhotsi says this information was supplied to him by a source with no proof provided to the Commission yet to substantiate his claims. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
At the same time, Ekurhuleni Mayor Dr. Xhakaza says he expects a preliminary report within 30 days on an investigation into alleged misconduct by some of the municipality's senior officials. Speaking at a media briefing in Germiston today, Xhakaza announced that he has launched an investigation into all officials implicated at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Ekurhuleni Metro Police Deputy Chief Julius Mkhwanazi, as well as former City Manager Imogen Mashazi, are amongst those accused of allowing criminal elements to infiltrate the department. Alpha Ramushwana has more.
Last week, the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry focused heavily on corruption allegations within the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department. At the center of the claims is suspended EMPD Deputy Chief Julius Mkhwanazi, who is accused of signing a fraudulent agreement with Vusmuzi, Kat Matlala's private security company. It has also been alleged that retired City Manager Imogen Mashazi may have provided protection to Mkhwanazi during prior investigations into his misconduct. Ekurhuleni Mayor Dr. Xhakaza says he will not overlook the serious allegations raised at the Commission.
And these issues raise serious questions about the misuse of authority and must be addressed with complete transparency.
Although Mkhwanazi was only suspended last week, it has been 2 years since his alleged connections to Matlala first came to light. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News in Germiston.
Let's move to another inquiry now. Johannesburg prosecution's boss, Advocate Andrew Chauke, has denied the charges against him, arguing that they are vague and embarrassing. An inquiry established by President Cyril Ramaphosa is investigating Chauke's fitness to hold office. This is based on decisions he made relating to former crime intelligence boss Richard Mdluli and the racketeering charges against former KZN Hawks boss Johan Boysens. In his opening address on behalf of Chauke, Advocate Tembeka Ngcukaitobi says the charges against Chauke are based on a grave misunderstanding.
They are also dangerous charges, and I don't say that lightly. What Mr. Chauke is accused of is not dishonesty, is not corruption, is not malafide. He is accused of exercising a prosecutorial discretion in a particular way.
In the Western Cape now, firefighters continue to battle a blaze on Hauhoek Mountain. The fire broke out yesterday. The N2 highway is open to motorists, but authorities are urging those travelling on that route to be cautious as smoke can be seen in the area. Overberg District Municipality Fire Chief Reynard Geldenes.
We managed to contain most of the lines above the Hauhoek Hotel, and the hotel and the N2 is secure. There are also active lines in the mountain more to the north, and teams will be deployed in there during the course of the day.
And U.S. lawmakers are expected to advance a bill today requiring the release of government records on sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The Epstein Files Transparency Act will pave the way for the publication of unclassified documents. These detail the investigation into Epstein's operations and his 2019 death in custody, which was ruled a suicide. At the time of his death, Epstein was facing federal trial over an alleged sex trafficking operation. The operation is said to have exploited underage girls as well as young women. Gold is trading at $4,038, 2 cents an ounce. The rand is at 17.23 to the dollar, 22.67 to the pound, 19.98 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $64.20 a barrel.
Driving through Bedfordview heading towards Germiston, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic. N3 southbound between Linksfield Road and Van Buren. Also coming from the Edenvale-Boksburg area heading into Bedfordview, there's slow-moving traffic on the R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Gilulis interchange, and look out for those roadworks on the R300 northbound, slowing down traffic approaching the N2.
It's a cloudy afternoon in Gauteng with isolated showers and thundershowers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 20 and 22 degrees, while Cape Town is fine with a fresh southeasterly wind at a high of 28. The top story in EWN this hour. Former Public Enterprises Minister Malusi Gigaba is accused of receiving kickbacks from locomotive deals within Transnet.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. You're with Mandy Wiener on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger, think Nedbank Commercial Banking. On the show today, Brian Mokgotsi says he's an informant and contact agent and makes claims about millions paid to top police generals. Crime researcher Mary de Haas is at the ad hoc inquiry in Parliament. Shamila Batoya is testifying at Andrew Chauke's inquiry. Malusi Gigaba charged with corruption in the Transnet matter. And the city of Joburg registers informal traders. All of that over the next hour.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Report on 702 and Cape Talk with me, Mandy Wiener. Progress by the National Prosecuting Authority. Finally, this is what everyone wants to see, right? Is they want to see political heads being held accountable for state capture. So the former minister, Malusi Gigaba, appearing in court today, standing alongside Brian Molefe, Siyabonga Kama, Anuj Singh, and various others in the dock in a courtroom. And that is a much anticipated image to see a former minister appearing in the dock being charged with a state capture related case. Now, let's see if that converts into a full-on prosecution and a conviction as well. So there's that one side happening, and then you have all the inquiries happening today. Literally, we have 3 separate inquiries running at the same time. And if you've been watching and listening to Brian Mokgotsi today, it's been pretty wild. Some of the things that we've been hearing. He's been speaking about how he is an informant, a contact agent. He's made claims about millions paid to top police generals. He's been speaking about the access. So there's a lot of detail in what Brian Mokgotsi has been testifying about. And there's a great sense of confidence about Brian Mokgotsi. Listen, the fashion police should be arresting Brian Mokgotsi at this point, but that's not what we're here to talk about. I often get the sense with people that are agents or informants, these are people that obviously operate in a clandestine world. Many of them are information peddlers. I always say that there's probably a percentage of what they're saying that is absolute truth and the rest is embellishment. That's been my experience. It will be up to the inquiry to decide whether or not he is telling the truth. And then I imagine it'll be up to a court of law to decide whether he is telling the truth. But if you've missed it, let's bring you up to speed now with Oren Singh, EWN reporter. Oren, good afternoon to you. Thanks for your time. Give us the highlights package of what Brian Mokgotsi has been saying.
Much like his outfit today, Mandy, quite wild, out there, outlandish claims that have yet to be substantiated and proven. I think one of the main things is during his initial testimony this morning, he referred to the 2023 ICJ case that South Africa opened against Israel in terms of genocide against the Palestinians. And he says that following that, he received intel that the Israelis were quite worried about a specific company in Richards Bay, the Richards Bay coal terminal and the routes, the coal routes thereof, because RBCT is a provider of coal to not only Israel but the United States, claiming that the Israelis were worried about this coal trade and whether South Africa would kind of stop that coal trade to them, given their ICJ case. He then goes on to say that following that, he received further intel that Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, KZN Police Commissioner, and the King, the Zulu King, Mrs. Zulu Kwazwelithini, were working for the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, that they had been recruited by the CIA in America to kind of protect the interests of America regarding this coal trade route. So quite some serious and damning allegations there, quite out there to think that a South African police commissioner would be working with the CIA. And I think what he's speaking to now, Mandy, puts into perspective a little bit more about Vusimusi Cat Matlala and this 360 million rand police contract to tender that he was awarded that was later cancelled. Brian Mokgotsi is alleging that he was instructed by his handler, given that he alleges he is a crime intelligence informant or a contact agent, that he had to infiltrate Matlala's camp to get information around this tender and what was going on. Alleging that at some stage during his conversations with Matlala alleged that he had been asked by the National Police Commissioner, Fani Masimola, to pay him 25 million rand, of which he had paid him 5 million. He was owing him 20, and to pay former Police Minister Becky Cele a total of 10 million rand, of which he paid him 2 million rand and was owing 8 million rand in order to secure this tender and this contract. So these are some of the claims that Brown is making here this afternoon, and obviously we're still going to hear a lot more of his claims come out through the rest of the day.
And just remind us, is there an opportunity for the commissioners then to ask questions? I imagine they would need to verify a lot of what he's saying.
So Advocate Matthew Chaskelson, who's leading his evidence so far, Mandy, made it quite clear in the beginning, before they started proceedings this morning, that there would be sort of two phases in this testimony with Brian Mokgotsi, where they would first go through his statement, and then thereafter, Matthew Chaskelson would have the opportunity to interrogate him on some of the claims that he's made. And this is in relation to everything that Brian Mokgotsi has within his statement. Obviously, he's replying to some of the allegations that were made against him during phase one of the commission's testimony, and now he's going to be given the opportunity to kind of defend himself. But later on in proceedings, either towards the end of this afternoon or tomorrow, he's set down for 2 days, we're going to see Advocate Matthew Chaskelson come at him and possibly grill him, interrogate him on some of the veracity of the claims that he's put before the commission today and tomorrow.
Oren Singh, thank you very much. EWN reporter who is at the Madlanga inquiry for us in Pretoria. Let's listen in live now as Brian Mokgotsi continues his testimony.
At the hotel, he was with his wife. They went into the hotel, and I waited and waited. They came in a white Mercedes-Benz, picked the man up, and I had to follow this Mercedes-Benz to this other place in Umhlanga.
Can I just ask you not to mention the address of the place, because we don't mention addresses for obvious reasons.
Then I went to Mhlanga to check the place, and then I waited for some time because they were together inside the house, and I did not know whose house was that. It was just the White House. It's fine. Then I waited for them as they came out. And then we went back to the hotel. I also slept and went away. And that was in April this year. Commissioners, May, June, July, during the 6th of July, during the General Mkonazi's press conference, General Mkonazi did mention Ket Matlala Brown Mokhotsi during his press statement. And it came out to everyone that on that day, Ket Matlala was found with a cell phone in prison. And indeed, and he called me, very furious. He said, Brown, can I tell you something? There was a time I told you that I went to look for someone who can solve my problem. And he said, and I said, yes, I remember. Because when I followed him, I didn't tell him that I was following him. And it became that I did not know who he met. They were driving the car, and it was something that was packed. And he said, I went to see General Mkonazi's house. And I also gave him something. He was talking about money. I gave him, I also gave him, but he was speaking this language. And he gave this guy, and now he's talking like this about us. I think, and then I never said to Kate, I followed you. I did not know. Honestly speaking, I didn't see who that person was. But how he narrated everything about the day he was going to meet someone who was going to solve his problems, I remembered. And he said it was General Mkonazi that he went to see.
You say this was after Mr. Matlala's, after General Mkonazi's press conference of 6 July?
That's correct, Commissioner.
So Mr. Matlala was calling you from prison?
Yes, he did call me from prison, not once.
And which number did he call you on?
No, prison phones, you cannot, no, it was just another number.
No, which number of yours did he call you on?
Oh, my cell phone numbers, yes, the one that
he uses in the chats?
Yes, everyone has that number.
And did he call you on, was he still using WhatsApp, or was he calling you landline?
WhatsApp, yeah.
So, evidence there by Brown Mokhotsi at the Madlanga inquiry, speaking about a meeting between Ket Matlala and General Mkonazi. Stay up to date. Keep track with what's going on. It's all over the place. Everyone's making claims and counterclaims of CIA and millions paid to police generals. Brown Mokhotsi dropping bombshells there. Some pretty wild claims being made by Brown Mokhotsi. What are your thoughts if you've been listening? Send me a WhatsApp voice note. Let me know what you think.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
Now, at the ad hoc committee that is in Parliament, also into the capture of the police, we're hearing from crime expert Mary de Haas. Mary de Haas has been around a very long time. She is a researcher, and her name has come up in earlier testimony before the ad hoc committee. So today is her turn on the stand. Babalo and Denze, EWN reporter on that one for us. Babalo, take us through what Mary de Haas has been saying.
Yes, indeed, Mandy. Mary de Haas giving evidence today just for one day. Her name has come up a number of times over the last month or so of hearings from Tlhatlha Mkhwanazi mentioning her and some of her correspondence to, the former Minister Bheki Cele, as well as suspended Minister Senzo Mchunu, to try influence his decision to disband the political killings task team, as well as looking into the PKTT's funding, etc. But she's basically given her background as a researcher and someone based in KZN, and now she's worked, with a number of black policemen from the 70s, and how this working relationship basically continued right up until democracy. and working with the violence after 1994, the case and political violence during that period. And she says this carried on up until today. And she's also, explaining some of her research, how she interacts over time with, various police, including the PKTT, which is the main subject of her appearance today, and basically her influence in this decision or this directive by Senzo Mchunu. And she tells the ad hoc committee that, when asked why she supported the disbandment, she says that, she was at some point informed that Bheki Cele, the former minister, was running the PKTT, even its operations. She says even in the Sindiso Magagla case, she's brought that up a couple of times, how crime intelligence had something to do with some of the issues around that case, and how this basically moved over to other issues within the province and the PKTT. She says the PKTT had exercised emotional and physical abuse against some of the people it arrested, some of the people implicated, the suspects, as well as some members of the police. She says they tortured some people, Mandy. They used, tubing to physically assault members, and they also another serious problem that she has with the PKTT, which is one of the main reasons that she wants it disbanded, is the fabrication of evidence. She says this fabrication of evidence by PKTT members, in their duties as they try to arrest people as part of the different cases, the murder cases. She says, this was a common theme by members of the PKTT. So they were basically allegedly corrupt in their activities. And she says that, there were dreadful stories that you would hear from members that have been interviewed or, tortured by the PKTT as well. But Norman Arnser, the evidence leader, asking her, are these stories, these horror stories that you speak of, is this just anecdotal evidence, or do you have any way of verifying these stories, on how you feel so strongly about the PKTT? And Mary de Haas basically, Mandy, saying that she's only managed to verify some of the cases. She hasn't been able to verify all of them. It will be easier to verify issues when they do land up in court, but a lot of these issues, Mandy, don't really end up anywhere, and she can only rely on the submissions of the people that she interviews and during the PKTT's work and even before that. So she's continuing this evidence before the committee, and there will be more questions from members of the committee, on exactly what her influence was with the former Minister Senzo Mchunu and how she feels about that decision and other issues related to the PKTT, Mandy.
Babalo, thank you so much. Babalo Ndenze, EWN reporter, wrapping up what's happening there at the ad hoc committee in Parliament with crime researcher and expert Mary de Haas. Let's listen in live now to her testimony.
I think my role in this is to say it wasn't necessary because we had perfectly good provincial teams, which I have explained, I've given details to. And I had never in my life, in all the years I've kind of worked with police, we've often cooperated. I've put them in touch with people when they're investigating, including back in the 90s. And I have never in my life heard of a task team running around with members of National Intervention Unit. What the police do, if they have to go into an area they think might be dangerous, they sign for a rifle to take with them in case they come under attack. And here I was getting, I think the first one I heard that were national intervention was when they seized Tabiso Zulu's phones. And then I heard that regularly the National Intervention Unit is with them. Now I can tell you, and this is one of my arguments, that at the moment we've got tracking mafias, we've got land and housing mafias invading land which is interdicted by armed men, and there's not a sign. There's no sign of a national intervention unit or a public order unit. And they're running around with the task team staying in expensive hotels. I then was told that actually a member who was a captain and promoted to lieutenant colonel, who by the surname of Finn, who's named by people in the task team, is actually cooperating the unit with General Dumisani Khumalo. He's kind of one of the commanders. Now that means then that we have the only people with oversight of a detective team are the National Commissioner, the Provincial Commissioner, the seconded NIU person, and General Khumalo, who's also head of intelligence. Now, That means there's 4 people there who are operational response and not even detectives running a team. I mean, it's just crazy. Absolutely. I've never come across this before. So that was the story of, I did write that letter, yes, and I wrote the subsequent letters because I was horrified by what I was hearing, and I thought of the expense even then. I would hear, well, who's so-and-so? I'd ask a detective that used to work in the I think he was with us and he's gone and he got promoted now. That's why he's now a colonel. But so I was getting reports from different people. When you put it together, it was all grossly irregular, plus my own experience of, as I said, the way they were running around. And I wasn't just...
Crime researcher Mary de Haas there at the ad hoc inquiry into policing. Years of experience she has. South Africa is a movie. It is a movie. You've got this going on about her speaking about the political killings task team. And then you've got Raymond Reddington there, Brian Mahotsi, at that's Tabiso Goba's joke. I have to give him credit for that. There at the Madlanga inquiry. And this is what's going on in our country. This just below the surface. When we're operating on a day-to-day basis, this is what's going on in law enforcement, in the kind of underworld, that murky space, and a spotlight is being shone on that. Real growth needs more than just banking, and Nedbank Commercial Banking is your growth partner. Their team of industry experts understand your business and its potential, offering insight to help you see opportunity where others see obstacles. Because when you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
So Taryn, you've just graduated cum laude, but nothing says you're a genius quite like selling your car to rebuy cars.
Absolutely. My car was an 18th birthday present and it's time to move on to something a bit more mature.
So where did you hear about rebuy cars?
All of my friends are using rebuy cars. I would have had legit FOMO if I hadn't used them. And it was so quick. I did it on my laptop while sending around my CV.
Smart move, Taryn. Graduated and upgraded. We buy cars, geared for success, geared for you.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a parent and a nervous but excited kid practicing her lines to put on a show-stopping performance at the school play. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's a future superstar on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Step into a world of unforgettable experiences in Dubai. From luxury beaches to underwater adventures. From authentic traditions to futuristic museums. Make it a Dubai adventure to remember with Emirates. Fly to Dubai from one of 3 gateways in South Africa. Start your holiday the moment you board with delicious regional meals, complimentary drinks, and up to 6,500 channels of entertainment. Fly Emirates. Fly better.
Day 20, awaiting proof of payment. Day 30, still waiting. Day 40, funds finally cleared. In business, credit with 55 interest-free days keeps you moving. We get it. Get an Absa Business Credit Card. Use over 50% of your credit and initiation fees will be on us. Offer ends 31 December 2025. Apply at absa.co.za/business. Absa is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply. Absa, your story matters.
12:30, time for Eyewitness News headlines.
Thanks, Mandy. Good afternoon. Controversial businessman Brown Mahotsi has made shocking claims of money exchanging hands between top police officials and suspected criminal Vusumuzi Kent Matlala. Mahotsi says Matlala has told him that the National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola demanded 25 million rand from him and he had already been given 5 million rand. He also claims that Matlala told him former Police Minister Bheki Cele demanded 10 million rand. The allegations are being laid bare at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today, where Mogotsi is testifying. Johannesburg prosecution's boss advocate Andrew Chauke has denied the charges against him, arguing that they are vague and embarrassing. An inquiry established by President Cyril Ramaphosa is investigating Chauke's fitness to hold office. This is based on decisions he made relating to former crime intelligence boss Richard Mdluli and the racketeering charges against former KZN Hawks boss Johan Boysens. And former Public Enterprises Minister Malusi Gigaba is accused of receiving kickbacks from locomotive deals within Transnet. He appeared in court today alongside 4 others in connection with controversial contracts worth billions of rands. The investigating Directorate Against Corruption formally added Gigaba to that case in the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 1 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
In Bedfordview, there's an accident seen on the N3 southbound near Van Buren, causing more than a 30-minute delay all the way from Linksfield Road. As a result of that accident scene, there's also about a 20-minute delay coming from Edenwell, heading towards Bedfordview R24 westbound between Macro Store and the Gilulis interchange in Benoni. Slow-moving traffic. That's on Rangeview Road between Dube and Tom Jones. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Edenville at Modderfontein Road and Van Riebeek, while in the Mother City. Roadworks still slowing down traffic on the R300 northbound. This is in the right lane approaching the N2. And the Huguenot Tunnel remains closed off to traffic. This is until 9 p.m. This is due to roadworks. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. EWN Sport.
Good afternoon, I'm Tolagile Mganga. Peter Steph du Toit, Malcolm Marx and Oxen Chair have been nominated for World Rugby Men's 15s Player of the Year, while Ethan Hooker has been shortlisted for the Men's 15s Breakthrough Player of the Year. The winners will be revealed on Saturday, while the Dream Team of the Year will be announced on the 25th of November. At the same time, assistant coach Mzwandile Stick believes that referees are not treating the Springboks fairly. That follows 2 red cards in as many weeks on their November tour. The cards were both deemed permanent reds and have cost the Boks the services of Loet Diaga and Franco Mostert.
Even the Fiji and the France game, the clean-outs that were there, the Ireland game against Australia, situations that were even worse than what those guys have been suspended for. And then for them, they suspended. But other players will come back and play this week. Surely, somewhere, somehow, this is not fair. I don't think we deserve this as a team. We're doing everything in our powers to make sure that send the right message when it comes to how we play the game. We play in a good spirit. We've never talked bad about other teams. We always try to play in the good spirit, and hopefully things can just be between the 4 lines. Are we treated fairly? I don't think so.
New Zambia coach Moses Sishon will not be on the bench for his team's friendly against Angola tonight. That's after being admitted to hospital for food poisoning. He didn't make it for the bench for his first game in charge. That was against Bafana Bafana on Saturday, having fallen ill hours before the encounter. And Carlos Alcaraz will miss the Davis Cup Final 8 tournament this week due to swelling in his right hamstring. Alcaraz's announcement comes 2 days after he was beaten by Yannick Sinner in the ATP Finals title decider. Tolagile Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
To sell or not to sell, that is the question. Whether selling a car, bike, boat or bakkie, WeBuyCars offers instant payment and a stress-free experience. Simply complete the form on webuycars.co.za for the best offer. Trading in or shopping for your next ride? Explore 12,000 plus vehicles online or visit WeBuyCars in store. Whether buying or selling, head to WeBuyCars today.
At Auto & General, we understand your business is built on more than just vehicles. It's your stock, tools and equipment, and the premises where you work. Auto & General Business Insurance is designed for businesses like yours, protecting your assets against fire, theft, storms, and other unexpected events. To protect your livelihood, visit autogen.co.za and get an obligation-free business insurance quote. Auto & General, never not there. Auto & General is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
Team
Summer is game time in Mzansi. Every tap, scan, swipe, it all adds up. And FNB is giving us big rewards, partner deals, e-bucks, defense tips, and chances to score experiences money can't buy. But you're only in the game if you pay with FNB. So stay sharp, spend clever, and let's dominate. Get in the game with FNB. Help changes everything. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and credit provider. NCRCP 20. T's and C's, earn rules and limits apply.
What do partners of the Gates Foundation do when facing the world's toughest challenges? They keep going. From discovering a plastic drape that helps detect excessive postpartum bleeding faster, to developing better bed nets to kill malaria-carrying mosquitoes, to researching an RSV vaccine that could save hundreds of thousands of children. For every problem, there are people who prove that progress is possible. The Gates Foundation, partners of human potential. Learn more at gatesfoundation.org/keep going.
You know what success looks like. Now discover why focus is the driving force behind every success story. Catch 702 in conversation with Momentum on The Money Show with Stephen Grootes every Thursday, discussing the science of success. Step into the mindset of top financial achievers and discover how your thinking, behavior, and focus can shape lasting financial success. That's 702 in conversation with Momentum. Thursdays on The Money Show with Stephen Grootes. Momentum, your journey to success on 702. Momentum is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Good day, Mandy. Good day, Mandy, to you and your team there. Mandy, bomb after bombs are dropped by this Madanga Commission. But will it lead to prosecutions? That is my big worry. That is my big worry, Mandy. Good day. Good show always. It's Joseph in Winchester. Bye-bye.
Hi, morning, Mandy and team. What I've seen with the Brown Mokotsi, when this guy starts to lie, he fat smiles, like he laughs, and then he talks. How can you have a company that is for your fiance, and then you say your fiance doesn't pay you, but you're not aligning to the company? It's your fiance's company. It's not your friend's company. It's your fiance's company. So this guy, Mara.
Mandy, I'm a layperson when it comes to international law, but my understanding is that if one is an agent for a foreign country, and the United States obviously is a foreign country, the CIA is an agency which works for the interests of that country. If one then voluntarily becomes an agent, one is surely guilty of treason. I'd really be interested to know what the expert opinion is this. It's Ross from Thornton. Thanks so much.
Thank you for all of those WhatsApp voice notes. You can't make this stuff up. Look, I would agree with you that if you're an agent for the CIA and you're the National Police Commissioner, then that would be treasonous in every way possible. And that's the allegation made by Brian Mokotsi. But a lot of people in this country have been accused of being CIA agents. Dennis Breitenbach was accused of being a CIA agent. Thuli Madonsela was accused of being a CIA agent. So I do think it's a bit of a fallback position to accuse people of that. On YouTube, a comment saying, Mandy, you have so much content to write 2 or 3 books that people will wonder, is this fiction or non-fiction? If I wrote those books, nobody would believe they were true.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
Well, to the last third next inquiry that is happening today, because this is the inquiry report on 702 and Cape Talk. The NPA head, Shamila Batoy, is testifying at the inquiry into the Joburg Director of Public Prosecution, Andrew Chauke's fitness to hold office. Khomotso Modise, EWN reporter, is there for us. Khomotso, good afternoon to you. Thanks for your time. Has Shamila Batoy actually begun her testimony there, and what's happening?
Good afternoon, Mandy. Advocate Shamila Batoy not started testifying at
the inquiry into Andrew Chauke. And that's because Chauke's lawyers have still been doing the opening address. It's been over 2 hours of an opening address by Advocate Tembeka Ngugaitobi, who's representing Advocate Andrew Chauke. And he's been responding to the allegations that have been made by the state and by the NPA. You remember that yesterday we heard an opening address from the chief evidence leader who was detailing what they believe Andrew Chauke's wrongdoing was. And this inquiry is really just based on his prosecutorial decisions that he made on 2 major cases. The first being the case, the racketeering charges against former KZN Hawks boss Johan Boysen, and the second being the decision not to charge Richard Mdluli for murder in a case dating back to 1999. So what we know currently, Mandy, is that he has denied any wrongdoing. He has dismissed those allegations. His lawyers have dismissed allegations against him as vague and embarrassing, saying none of them show that he acted out of malice as a prosecutor. In fact, they are attacking his prosecutorial discretion, which is something that he should be able to exercise without being threatened or with any fear. So without any fear. So we are hearing now from Ngugaitobi, who's being engaged quite a bit, Mandy, by the commissioners, particularly the chair of this commission, that is retired Justice Beson Kabinde. After him, we are expecting Advocate Shamala Batohi, the head of the NPA, to take the stand.
Do we know who else is going to be testifying there?
Yes, so we heard Advocate Ngugaitobi really dropping big names as he was laying the basis for their case. He says that we're going to be hearing from Advocate Kharinel, who's a former prosecutor, and he claims that Kharinel is going to clarify for the commission exactly what happens when decisions for prosecution are made. So Nel is one of the witnesses that are going to be testifying, as part of Chauke's case. We also heard that Advocate Lawrence Hodis is also going to be testifying because he had dealt with one of the matters, I believe it may have been the Johan Boysen matter on behalf of the NPA. So he's going to give a bit of clarity on why the decision was made for Boysen to be prosecuted. We're also going to be hearing from the former deputy director of public prosecutions from the Northwest, and many other names have been dropped by Chauke's team, saying that he's going to call all those lawyers, many of them very high profile and prominent, as part of his case.
Khomotso, thank you very much. Khomotso Modise, EWN reporter, speaking to us there from that inquiry into Andrew Chauke's fitness to hold office.
702. Mandy Wiener.
Weekdays, 12 to 1 p.m.
The former finance minister, former minister of public enterprises, Malusi Gigaba, appearing in court today, being charged with corruption. It's been a long time coming, and for all those people that have high expectations of accountability, or low expectations, I suppose, of accountability when it comes to state capture, this is a significant step. He appeared in the dock alongside former Transnet executives Brian Molefe, Siyabonga Gama, Anush Singh, and a number of others as well. So let's find out more about that with Jabulile Mbata, EW reporter, who was in court for us today. Jabulile, tell us about that court appearance today.
Good afternoon, Mandy. So just a reflection, today Malusi Gigaba was very calm. Inside and outside court, he was laughing with his colleagues, and he stepped in, and then the magistrate was able to charge him with corruption. But the specific contravention is of the Public Finance Management Act, fraud, corruption, and breaches of the Companies Act, which relates to his time as a former public enterprise minister. So it is when Transnet was trying to get more locomotives in, and there were allegations of irregularities within the tender processes. But one of the things that his attorney told us is that they still maintain, he still maintains his innocence. He does not believe he did anything wrong, but he wants the court processes to unfold, and we shall see what they have up their sleeves.
Did Malusi Gigaba speak to the media at all today?
He refused to speak to the media, but again, he was quite in a jolly mood. So he was surrounded with quite a few of the co-accused. They also had supporters. The MK party supporters was also in court, basically calling for the accused to be freed.
And the NPA, what are they saying about the strength of the case against him?
So the NPA is confident in the case because they are saying that, from 2021, they have been investigating this case. Obviously, one of the questions is why it has taken so long, but they were just gathering the merits of the case. They didn't go into detail in terms of how much in kickbacks Malusi Gigaba is alleged to have received, but they believe they have a strong case.
Jabulile, thank you very much. Jabulile Mbata, EWN reporter who was in the Palm Ridge court today as Malusi Gigaba, the country's former finance minister, former minister of public enterprises, was charged with corruption.
For 3 consecutive years, Nedbank has been recognized as the best investment bank in South Africa at the Global Banking and Finance Review Awards. Whether helping clients navigate cross-border risks or building financing frameworks that support market reform, Nedbank is a partner in more than just capital. We're part of the architecture supporting Africa's renewable energy future. See money differently. Nedbank. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider.
Progress builds, it moves, and it has a partner. That partner is Anglo-American. Together, we're building progress where it matters most across South Africa. With a 1 billion rand investment into education in our host communities, $15 million pledged to the Global Fund to support community-based health services, 1.6 billion rand in deals facilitated through our Impact Finance Network. And as a sponsor of B20 and G20, we're bringing that same spirit of partnership to a global stage, proving that when collaboration is real, progress moves faster. South Africa has a partner. Join the conversation on social media. Anglo-American, mining potential, building beyond.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. Like a man wearing his finest suit on his way to an interview. He's prepped 100 times, but he still has butterflies. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic. It's a potential lucky break that could change someone's life. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Good day, Mandy, and the good team there. I just hope that Brian Mukhodzi is lying, or if it can be proven that these people were paid that money, we are in big trouble. Thanks, William Piton.
Good afternoon, Mandy. Mandy, this Brian Mukhodzi is lying. This guy is lying. You can even hear it straight after this guy is lying. I think he was sent by other people to blackmail General Mkwananz, but otherwise you can even hear it. Lies, you can hear lies. You don't have to try and figure anything out, but you can hear that this guy is lying. He's lying. There are some people like I'm even suspecting that people like maybe Shadrack Sibia and Senzo Mkunu, they sent him to defend themselves there, but he's lying, total lies.
Well, just to bring you up to speed there, Brian Mukhodzi is taking questions now from commissioners. He's been speaking about how Kat Mtlala called him whilst in prison after that July 6th briefing by General Mkhwanazi, alleging that he gave General Mkhwanazi money. He's been speaking about that CIA claim as well, about when he was in Nairobi, how that claim was confirmed to him, that the police commissioner apparently is working for the CIA. Yeah, it's a lot, eh? It's a lot. Brown Mukhodzi. I saw someone calling him Brown Envelope Mukhodzi. But yeah, these are going to have to be corroborated. The claims, anybody can make a claim about anything. They have to be corroborated. What kind of evidence is there to support this?
702.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Let's walk the talk.
More than 160 informal traders have been registered and authorized to continue operating in the inner city in Joburg. Remember, the High Court ruled this month that there was a deadline for the city to formalize more than 500 street vendors who had been prohibited from trading due to non-compliance. The city has been removing traders as well in order to ensure that they have permits. So let's find out about that process now with Matron Mhlanga, who's the General Secretary of the South African Informal Traders Association. Matron, good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us here on the Midday Report. How has this process been going for your members?
We have actually verified around 240 traders, and the reason behind is that part of that 570 something that we spoke about, they are not affected by the removal. So there was no need for them to go and verify. But up to so far from the affected ones, we have verified around 240 members.
Okay, so it's actually a number more than what the city is saying. And is the process working?
Actually, we are not happy with the process because some of the traders that actually went there, the Department of Home Affairs actually took away their papers in a promise that they will give them a call. They are still going to verify those documents. But up to today, they have not received any call from Home Affairs. And this is the issue that we have been raising for the past years, that is the city ready with verification? And they have said that they are ready, but we see the way the Home Affairs is conducting itself, that there was no readiness in this process.
The mayor, Dada Morero, was speaking in CBD this morning, announcing that the approved traders are receiving official trading permits, how they're issuing smart cards. Do you agree with what he's been saying, or is there a disconnect there between the city and the Traders Association?
What we know is that there are members of the political party that have been issued with smart cards that have never traded before. But the members that were actually trading were spaces. They have not yet, most of them, they have not yet received smart cards. Even the SMSs to confirm their verification, some of them have not even yet received those SMSs.
So are you suggesting that the system is corrupted or is being abused?
Yes, the system, actually what we see is that they are using that process to campaign for next year election, nothing much.
So what happens now if the system doesn't work and the traders aren't given smart cards? Will you go back to court?
Definitely, that's what we are waiting for, because we're hoping by today, all of the members that were verified and they were approved, they will have spaces to trade. But we have seen them sitting at home and they have not received any smart cards. Some have not received SMSs, I've said. Some they have received SMS that it's stating that they are still on process. But today is the due date.
Matron, thank you very much. Matron Mklanga, the General Secretary for the SA Informal Traders Association, speaking there about that process. So the mayor has said one thing this morning in town, Dada Morero, about how this process is working, how smart cards are being issued. The Traders Association saying, well, that's not the case. The system is corrupted. It's being abused. The correct people are not receiving smart cards.
702, the Midday Report, Monday to Friday.
12 to 1 p.m.
Well, let's end off with something a bit different, a bit lighter, and I want to tell you about the Ultra Trail Cape Town event that's taking place in Cape Town from the 21st to the 23rd of November. And let's unpack this Ultra Trail running program and event that is going to happen with Michael Edwards, who is the RMB sponsorship marketing lead. Michael, good afternoon to you. Thanks very much for your time. Tell us about the Ultra Trail Cape Town event.
Afternoon, Mandy, and thanks so much for having me. Yeah, so I just touched down in Cape Town about 30 minutes ago, and the event takes place this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Registration opens on Thursday, and it's a partnership that RMB has been involved with for the past, we're going into our fourth year, and it really is just a celebration of South African trail running. It also attracts a hell of a lot of elites from around the world. And it's a partnership we're incredibly proud of and continue to build on year.
Ultra Trail running is really expanding. It's become a lot more accessible.
Yeah, it's absolutely exploding. And so our partnerships alone, we also have a partnership with RMB Ultra Trail Drakensberg, and there are races popping up every single weekend of every month of the calendar. It's a sport, I think, that is growing in popularity around the world, but I think specifically in South Africa, and part of the reason we were so attracted to the property and the sport was the place and the effective stadium in which it takes part. So you're talking about the Table Mountain Trail Network, which is arguably one of the most beautiful stadiums in the world, and there 100-miler event takes place over 165 kilometers of that stadium.
And for people who want to come out and support or get involved, what do you suggest?
Yeah, so it's, like I said, the first race goes off from Llandudno on Friday morning. Then there's a race starting at 9 o'clock on the Friday. The 100-miler, which is the flagship event, takes place and starts at 5 p.m. on Friday night. And then there's another two events on Saturday and another one on Sunday morning. So all of this takes place, starts and finishes across Cape Town, but all of the finishes are at Gardens Rugby Club. And that's really the home of R&B Ultra Trail Cape Town, and the best place to go if you're in town to go and support, along with numerous aid stations across those 165 kilometers. I think there's approximately 12 where you can go and cheer on runners, whether you know them or not. It's a very special experience to be a part of. And then lastly, I would say, if you'd rather watch from the couch, there's a broadcast on YouTube on the channel where you can watch the live stream over the weekend.
All the best to everyone that is participating. Michael, thank you so much. Michael Edwards, R&B Sponsorship Marketing Lead, telling us about the Ultra Trail Cape Town, the UTCT, which takes place from the 21st to the 23rd, as he's set out there. 100-miler. Not sure that's something that's on my bingo card. Ready to sell your vehicle? We Buy Cars goes above and beyond to make it simple, quick and rewarding. Sell your car, bike, boat or bakkie for a great price with instant payment. Trading in or buying next? Explore over 12,000 vehicles. Plus, get flexible finance and cover options at webuycars.co.za or at any branch. We Buy Cars, the best way to buy or sell.
702 was in conversation with Nedbank, discussing all the insights, opinions, and expectations of the B20 summit.
So what the B20 does is it's a summit that happens before the G20 where business element to assist with policy initiatives is discussed and some consensus is driven and obtained through that space. For example, on the energy space, we were trying to get some consensus of how the world should use the sustainability model, what can we do in terms of empowering or powering the world, the climate crisis, all those agendas, and bring a business element into that so that when the policymakers eventually do meet and the heads of states, it's well tuned in and of course it helps make it policy into a reality.
To hear the full lowdown, visit primemediaplus.com. Brought to you by Nedbank, proud sponsors of the B20 Summit on 702. Nedbank is a licensed FSB and registered credit provider.
Think radio is out of reach? Think again. With Prime Media Credit, you can get your brand on 947, 702, KFM 94.5 and Cape Talk now and pay later. Flexible finance, big impact. Email advertise at primemedia.co.za. Prime Media Credit, powered by Bridgement.
And now, it's back to Mandy Wiener on the Midday Report.
This is 702.
Let's walk the talk.
And now, just to catch you up on what's happening at the Madlanga inquiry with Brown Mahoti, let's listen into that.
I give him, he'll come and fill this docket in with information. Not necessarily that I must come and salute and say, hey, I'm an agent, give me the information, I'm going to help you. No, that's not how it works. You don't show the identity of people involved, and you talk to your person and say, with this information, I'll be able to do 1, 2, 3. Remember, a support staff who's a data capturer in supply chain, he can give you information and ask you, please make sure nobody knows about this, that it comes from me. It's a support staff in the supply chain. Once you have read it, maybe you take a picture, you give it back, then you give it to a handler, and the investigation unfolds. They won't know who gave it to you, and it doesn't necessarily has to be you saying I'm an agent. Remember, the support staff cannot even trust this other police. Your handler is not trusted by all the people. Mari, they can trust me, and I give this handler the information.
Can we very briefly just deal with the letter, the disbandment letter that you address at 61 and 62 before we take the lunch break?
Maybe before you do that, Mr. Justice, just the last thing on this topic that you're having now. You do I think from your evidence, in fact, it's not even a question of accepting. You did disclose to General Sibia that you're an agent.
That's correct.
So other people may well know because of that disclosure to General Sibia. You have no control over it. He may well have told other people in crime intelligence.
I don't know.
Yes.
It is him who knows.
But it's possible.
Brown Mokhotsi on the stand there at the Madlanga inquiry. It's pure theatre at the moment. Keep watching that. Keep listening to 702 and Cape Talk. The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. It's 1 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Brown Mokhotsi makes shocking allegations at the Madlanga Commission, and Gigaba is accused of receiving kickbacks from Transnet tenders. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Controversial businessman Brown Mokhotsi has made shocking claims of money exchanging Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Controversial businessman Brown Mokhotsi has made shocking claims of money exchanging hands between top police officials and suspected criminal Vusimuzikat Matlala. Mokhotsi says Matlala told him that National Police Commissioner Fani Masemula demanded 25 million rand from him after he had already given him 5 million rand. He also claims that Matlala told him former Police Minister Bheki Cele was demanding 10 million rand. The allegations are being laid bare at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today, where Mokhotsi has been testifying. He alleges that these were payments that the top cops expected from Matlala as a service provider with the SAPS.
It is Matlala who told me that these people are very ungrateful. He further spoke about General Bheki Cele and General Masemula, saying that, these people expect me, like Masemula, he expects 25 million rand from me, and I have already given him 5 million rand. He also spoke about Bheki Cele, that he has given him 2 million rand.